Well, hello and welcome people of the internet to another adventure. My name is Ganyonz, and today we are trying out Codename Ocean Keeper. This is a bullet heaven horde survival game that's currently in early access, and it's pretty sweet. It's got a sweet little gameplay loop here, and we're gonna check it out. So basically, we're this little undersea miner dude, and we're just gonna go around. There's a bunch of these different cave systems that are on the map, and as we dig, we're gonna need to collect some resources. So you're definitely, if you're familiar, you're going to definitely see some similarities here to Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. A lot of the gameplay loop itself is kind of similar. We're looking to mine up these different resources. The different resources are going to be used to upgrade our weapons, our digging capabilities, our recovery, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to see if I can get one more load here. We're going to be cutting it pretty close. And you can see that obviously we have a timer up here. When that timer reaches 0, oh, Dome Keeper, we also have a little bit of comparison there. Once that wave reaches 0, we're going to be smacked around with some waves of enemies. So we got to make sure to make our way back to our little robot mech here to defend it, because otherwise these things are going to attack regardless of whether or not we're here or not. Okay, let's not get smacked around by these things. Currently I have a shotgun equipped. There are 3 different weapons that you can equip your mech with here at the start. Let's go ahead and collect some more of these. Actually, before we go, let's go ahead and get some upgrades. I'm going to take the power. So the power, basically there's a couple different categories of things we can upgrade. We are on our digger right now, and basically the 3 trees, if you will, are power, which is going to increase the speed at which you can mine, speed, which is how fast you can go up, and carry slowdown, which is going to decrease how fast your character slows down when you have more things attached to you. So we're going to take power, so that way we can break some of these rocks a little bit easier. I'm also going to take carry slowdown, and we'll also take a speed, just to speed up our progression here, so that way we can carry a little bit more, we can dig a little bit faster, and we can just get more upgrades and progress a little bit quickly. So yeah, the you know, gameplay loop, like I said, it is something similar to what we've seen before. However, you know, the underwater theme is cool. You know, Subnautica was a big hit, and, you know, the underwater theme doesn't get a whole lot of love, and, well, I mean, it gets some love, right? I mean, it doesn't get no love, but underwater is one of those things that, like, is just so interesting. I'm going to be honest, what is it? It's Thalassophobia, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't have it fully, but I'm going to be honest, I would rather go into space than the ocean. The ocean is pretty terrifying. There's a lot of scary stuff down there that I don't want to mess with. And luckily, this isn't as, you know, this isn't as, like, horror driven as some other underwater games, but there's some creepy little fishies in the sea. All right, wave 2 here. Let's take them out. So you'll see at the bottom of the screen, we have 1 square. The first square there on the left is our shotgun. You can see it's currently on cooldown. Okay, there we got it. We got some enemies that are going to shoot at us. They're these, like, little jellyfish looking guys. Okay, we are getting... Okay, yeah, the shotgun is a little bit tough to go off of. So I've tried 2 different weapons. I've tried the shotgun, and I also tried the machine gun, which is just kind of like, you know, straight line of fire weapon. Come on, let's go. Okay. The shotgun is definitely good once you get it going. However, at the beginning, the reload speed is pretty rough. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on upgrading that pretty early on. Okay, so here we go. So one thing you also want to be looking for are these relics. Now, the relics are going to allow us to get new weapons at the start, and then once we have all of our weapons, we're going to get some, like, base upgrades here. So I'm going to take the napalm bomb launcher. This is basically going to put down 3 different circles of fire. Basically kill whatever's in there and then do a little bit of damage over time to anyone that walks over it. Let's go ahead. Anything down here? Let's go ahead and break a little bit more. Can I upgrade? I can upgrade power. So basically, the yellow and blue orbs are kind of just 2 sides of the same coin. You know, they both get used in a lot of different upgrades. Some of them, like speed, just need the blue. A lot of basically the health upgrades or the final upgrades on weapons need these green orbs, and those show up. They are definitely a little bit more rare than the blue and yellow, so we're definitely going to want to find some of those, especially if we want to heal. That's the only way that I've found to actually heal our mech in the game, so we're definitely going to want to keep our eye out there. Unfortunately, we're getting kind of screwed here in this cave. There's not a lot of resources, but there are caves all over the map. Here we go. Here's some of that the green orbs that I was looking for. Now, even though we see that there are, you know, 3 different stones there, it doesn't always mean that we're going to get 3 stones. Now, the reason I'm digging some of these just generic rocks, as you can see up here, this the last yellow circle, that is our meta progression currency. That's going to allow us to upgrade everything in our home base, just like in our home base, excuse me, just like we would any other bullet heaven. Do our little meta progression. Okay, okay, we need to upgrade the shotgun. Do I have enough to... Yeah, I can upload... So, it says power, but it's a little bit more than just power. It increases ammo per shot, damage, rate of fire, and reload time. Reload time is going to be huge for us, especially early on, because once we get a couple other weapons going, we'll be able to take care of enemies a little bit more efficiently. But right now... Ooh, okay, we just barely made it through. See if we can take care... Okay, that's one. Got to take care of this guy now. The speed of our mech is definitely... I'm actually going to go over here. I'm going to start mining this other cave, but I'm so slow. Is definitely a downside. We can speed it up, but that's one thing I've noticed is that mobility is really, really lacking in this game, which makes sense, right? We're a giant mech that's underwater. I wouldn't expect us to be dashing around like crazy, but especially I think when you're having projectiles thrown at you and... you know, you got to dodge from all different angles. Mobility can definitely be a struggle. There's no, like, dash or anything. You know, you don't have, like, boosters to kind of get out of the way of stuff. So, if you don't have a lot of speed, sometimes you just take a lot of damage. And that may just be, you know, part of the gameplay that they want to include, and they don't want it to be a big dash fest. Which I can accept, especially because they give you ways of healing on the map. If there were no ways to heal your character, in this case the mech, I would be a little bit more skeptical. But you know, we have 3 heals right now, which I'm going to end up using here pretty soon. But I'm going to try and get a couple more digs in. There we go. Now we got to make our way back up. Okay, before we actually fight in this wave, I'm going to get a couple heals here, and I'm also going to get our... Yeah, I can get both. I'm not worried about health yet. I am going to take a little bit of speed. And I'm going to go... going to upgrade our power so that way we can start digging a little bit faster. Okay, let's try and take care of these worms. Now, I believe it's every 5 waves there is a... Oh boy, we're going to get surrounded here. Okay. Luckily, we do have a heal in the tank, which is pretty good. But I do kind of want to stick around that cave that I was just in. I want to continue digging that one. There we go. So I believe this next wave is going to be a boss wave. I believe it's every 5 waves that there's a boss. There we go. Some more yellow. And we're going to get another weapon here on our ship. That's going to be great. So I'm going to dig a little bit more, try and find a few more stones to bring up, so that way it's not just a, you know, a pretty limited run here. There we go. I have found... I've only played like 2 or 3 runs. I have found that there's actually quite an abundance of the yellow crystals. Here I'm going to take the automatic machine gun. Let's grab that, which I guess is kind of redundant, but there's definitely abundance of the yellow crystals I've noticed. The blue crystals, there isn't. There's still quite a bit of them. I'm not saying that there's none, but in terms of upgrades, you definitely need more blue than yellow. So I was surprised to see the abundance of yellow crystals compared to how many you actually need. Now, you do need quite a bit of yellow crystals to upgrade everything, but I was just the percentage of what is yellow and what is blue seemed to be, I don't know, slightly off from what I would expect. I would expect, you know, a tiny percent. So if I was going to talk in percentages, I would say it feels like it's about, I don't know, 60-40 maybe in favor of yellow. Yeah, so here's our first boss. So we got a worm boss. He's going to shoot out 3 of these little scattershot bullets, and then he's also going to pop up around us and kind of dive at us. He can be a little annoying because his entire body, if you touch him at all, can deal damage. So, like, if he kind of jumps at you like that, and if you touch any of them, he can just, like, basically slowly drain you over time. Now, luckily, like I said, our movement is pretty bad, but the good thing is that the hitboxes are pretty forgiving. So, you know, it's not like if the bullets kind of scrape off, you know, what I would consider the elbow of the mech, you know, you're not going to get hit by that stuff. Pretty much it's got to hit the center mass of your mech. And I think we're actually, you know what, I think we're actually good here. There's not a lot here, so I'm going to make my way up and out because I don't think we're going to find anything more in this cave. So I'm going to try and get a few more resources here at this next cave before the wave pops up. Try and dig as fast as I can. There. We can just get it. Oh, there we go. Oh, we hit the jackpot. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Let's go ahead and pick these up. Let's go ahead and make a second run. Try and get as much as we can here before the next round. Maybe we can upgrade another weapon here. There we go. Let's pick all that up. Perfect. And we're getting a lot of blue, and we definitely need a lot of the blue crystals. And we already have a nice little stockpile of green, so I love to see that. We can just kind of hang on to it for when we need it. Okay, we've got to make our way up now. Pick up a little bit of meta progression on the way. Might as well. Okay, let's do another round of upgrades here. Let's go for... Let's increase the power of our machine gun, I think. The napalm is already pretty strong, so I'm going to do that. And then let's also go ahead and upgrade our speed one more time. Just make us a little bit more agile. That'll help us out, especially with the waves of these little guys that kind of jump on us. Then we can just kind of back away from them a little bit easier. Especially when we're also getting shot from the side by the worms here. In terms of endgame, I believe that the game goes until wave 30. Now, I don't have that confirmed because I haven't made it just that far yet. But based on the updates that I saw on the Steam page, they had made a post, the developers had made a post that they made balance changes from the beginning game till wave 30, which kind of implies to me that that is the final wave. So we're going to try and make it that far. I've almost made it that far. Just in the one or two games that I was playing, just to get a feel of the game before actually jumping in to show you guys. But the music is properly creepy. Perfect. We have a bunch of health here. We are set up, so we just need to get a bunch more blue, so that way we can level up our weapons, and then we're going to be good to go. We're going to have a bunch of health. Because the green crystals are not really taxed super heavily. What I would expect to see if oh, nothing that way, okay. Well, what I would expect to see if green are the crystals used for healing, I would expect them to be kind of heavily taxed, so that way you can't just kind of hold on to a bunch of healing all at the same time, and you have to have a little bit of you know, kind of risk and reward. Like, do you want to, wow, this cave kind of sucked. You know, do you want to use all your health crystals for upgrades, or do you want to keep them for health? And the way that the upgrade system, yeah, that cave sucked. The way the upgrade system is now, if we take a look at it, you know, if we look at the digger, okay, well, in order to upgrade these to max, you would need 4 greens, 3 greens, 2 greens. Okay, well, that makes sense. 10 greens down here for health. Auto repair, I have tried once. So, this doesn't really make sense to me. So, once the mech's health is 0, the player has green diamonds. Mech will be automatically repaired for 25 units. So, I bought this on one of my previous runs. It only works once, which to me doesn't really make sense, because basically, if you would die, you automatically restore 25 health. But this just counts for 100 health, and you can pause any time, and the game pauses. So I'm not sure why you wouldn't just come back into the menu and heal up for 100 versus having an automatic repair for 25. Because 25 actually isn't that much health. It can go away pretty quickly. So even if you were to, like, need a panic respawn, basically, is what it is, if you're in a bad situation, you might just die immediately again. So I did buy it once. I don't think I would ever buy it again. And actually, now that I say that, I'm going to heal up here. Just, you know, we're going to do 75 healing just to have that little bit of a buffer. I don't want to be sitting down at 30 health because, like I said, that health can go away fairly quickly. Now, the way your weapons are set up, I am currently activating the shotgun. I'm aiming the shotgun. You don't have to. It's a pretty convenient system where, you know, a lot of other bullet heavens either have it so you're manual 100% of the time, or you can activate automatic shooting. In this game, it's both at the same time. So if I'm holding the left mouse button, it will follow my aim and I control the gun. However, if I want to, I can just let go and it does its thing. And there's no need to like deactivate or activate it. So the mech is always shooting, regardless of, you know, whatever your action is. It will fire slower than if you were firing, but it does fire it automatically. So I'm going to go here. Fires a shell damage, reload. Why wouldn't I just go with the artillery? This does more damage, slower reload time, and it shoots the same. So let's definitely go with artillery. I think the get button indicates either rarity or power. I've seen a yellow button on a couple things. It's really the only thing I've been able to tell from rarity, like, because the red and green is just indicating weapons versus like upgrades. But I guess we'll go with the artillery here. That seems to be the smart decision. Okay, I'm going to work towards that blue instead of the yellow. I would much rather have more blue crystals at this point. Fantastic. Ooh, jackpot. Okay, give me more than one. Okay, well, that is technically more than one. There we go. Grab that. One more. Perfect. We're not slow down. You know what? We can take another yellow. We're fast enough. There is a little bit of physics here, too, so if one of these, you know, stones gets stuck on a rock, you can definitely drop it and lose it, which can kind of be a shame, but, you know, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. You just gotta maneuver better. Just swim better. Okay, more yellow. Perfect. We'll definitely take more healing. Ooh, very nice, very nice. We'll take that. Okay, gotta make our way back up to the surface for the next round. On our way, we'll grab a little bit of meta correction, just kind of poke in and out as we go. Gonna poke this just so it's easier to get up and through. There we go. Yeah, so you can see, and then the other weapons that we have that we pick up, those will fire automatically. Now, the amount of slots we have, we can upgrade in the meta progression. So when you actually start at the very beginning, your very first run, you'll only have one additional weapon you can have. I've unlocked 2 more through meta progression. But for the most part, I turned off what I could. And we'll go over meta progression after we complete this run. And I'll kind of talk about why I turned off some things in meta progression to show you this run. And we'll talk about my overall thoughts on the meta progression of this game and about the game as a whole after we complete the run. But for now, we're just going to focus on the run. So let's go ahead and sink to the bottom. Maybe let's poke a hole over here, see if we can find some more. This cave is not looking like it's going to give us a whole lot of rewards here. Unless there's going to be something over here. Okay, there's a little bit more blue crystals. A little bit more. Okay, there we go. There we go. So after I get this chunk right here, we're definitely going to be leaving this cave and finding another one. We're looking like we're out of stock here, at least for what I would want to stick around for. Okay, let's go ahead and upgrade our speed here, so we can fly up a little bit faster. This is definitely a slow run. Now, could I drop? So basically, if you wanted to, down here, you can see Q and E. E is to pick things up. Q is to drop. Could I drop a few things that way we could fly up a little faster? Sure, I could. Am I going to? Heck. Okay, let's go ahead and upgrade our power here. I'm gonna sink down. I'm gonna try and get a few more pickups here, because there's no sense in trying to get to another cave. I'm not gonna have enough time, so I'm just gonna quickly go through and see if I can find anything else in here. In worst case, I just pick up more stuff for meta progression. Yeah, so in terms of sound design, the music I think is like properly ambient, but at the same time active. And I like that the music switches up when you're mining versus when you're fighting. That's definitely a nice touch. The sound of the guns, I think, is really great. I think they're, you know, they're bassy enough and they definitely feel like they have enough impact. The sound of the mining, I think, could use a little bit of love. It's just a little bit too soft for my taste. That's kind of the best way I can put it. It's kind of hard to describe, but that's just kind of how I feel. And I definitely would like to see a different death animation than just turning into a green blob for enemies. But we are in early access, you know, it is an early version, but at the same time, you know, currently the devs are asking $7 for the early access, and I'll give my thoughts about that as well. Again, once we get to the meta progression stuff, we'll kind of talk about the game as a whole. All right, let's go ahead and drop some of this stuff off. Can I upgrade anything else? My speed, let's go ahead and upgrade. I should probably start working on my power, I think. So I'm going to hold off here on upgrades. We're swimming around just fine here. However, one thing I want to check, though. Yeah, so one thing I was wondering about was the sound itself, because the sound effects of the mining are pretty quiet compared to the gun. So if I want, okay, now I am gonna drop a couple things off here because I can make a couple runs here, because they're on the same sound effect like bar basically. The level of the guns versus the level of mining is quite different. So like, for example, to me the mining volume is pretty low. But at the same time, to me, even still, the actual gun sounds are pretty loud. And so maybe they just need a balance, because I don't have any way to balance those sounds. All right, let's go ahead and go up. Let's go ahead and upgrade some of our guns here. Probably just want to do our shotgun, just keep powering that up. Although, maybe I want to start working on... Probably the napalm is the next thing I want to start working on. I really like the napalm gun. The artillery seems kind of fine. Oh, okay, we got our crab. This crab is an interesting boss. He's not really hard because he's pretty slow, and you just have to dodge that one claw. But if he runs into you, you take damage. So you saw we took 30 damage just by him walking into us, and we already have 2 speed upgrades. The third speed upgrade is only additional 0.1. So that's kind of one of those cases where I'm not exactly sure what to me it feels like that boss I'm not supposed to dodge. I'm just supposed to face tank him. Because if we don't have the mobility, here we go, and we got another relic upgrade. If we don't have the mobility, well, then I don't know how I'm supposed to dodge. And this is where the upgrades get interesting too, and one of the reasons why I was talking about the green crystals and how there's not a lot of pressure on them. So once you get all your weapons selected, then you just start getting upgrades, and the upgrades don't actually upgrade your weapons at all. Well, I shouldn't say that. They can upgrade your weapons, right? Like, we have an upgrade right here for our weapon. I guess what I meant by that is more like general stats. So basically, all your upgrades just go through the tree. So if you upgrade everything to the 2nd level, you can get a free upgrade on the 3rd level, which basically means that all the upgrades that require the green crystals, you can kind of bypass by upgrading here. I'm going to take the health, by the way. And so it kind of relieves some of the stress on this green crystal resource. And so you can kind of save it. You know, you can kind of upgrade everything to like level 2, and then you don't really have to worry about it. And then you can just look for relics, because the relics are fairly consistent that there's 1 in every cave. I would say it's 1 in every like 0.8 if you want to get like, you know, really nitpicky. It could be everyone, but I feel like I've definitely seen caves without 1. I don't want to say for certain, though, but that's kind of how based on the previous runs, I feel like it's kind of in that 0.8 like 0.8 range, where, you know, you're not like guaranteed to find one, but it's pretty likely. Okay, I'm not super worried about getting this yellow right now. I just want to get as much blue as possible. We have at least one upgrade for our napalm, which is pretty great. Just going to kind of dig this out here, because I don't think I'm going to be able to make all the way down, get the yellow, and then come back up. So we'll get that on the next run. There we go. All right, make our way back up to the ship. Let's go ahead and upgrade our guns here before the wave starts. So let's go napalm, we'll go power. Rotation speed, I don't feel like is necessary at all, to be honest. You know, because basically... your rotation speed slows down. Let me go ahead and get another power here. And can I upgrade anything else? I can't. Okay. Like, rotation speed seems fine, but it slows down a little bit while you're shooting. So you can just stop shooting and spin around, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's a necessary upgrade. It seems like it's kind of wasted. I'm surprised that... So, I think the thing I'm surprised about is that the skill tree to me feels a little anemic, in that a lot of the weapon upgrades that we're used to seeing, so for example, attack speed, reload speed, there's no crit. Let's go ahead and go back down. All those kinds of things are not in the game, and so but in order to upgrade them, all you have to do is upgrade the gun once, because under power is your ammo per shot, your damage, your rate of fire, your reload time. So you have a and remember, I don't think that this path is at all necessary. I would never pick, based on the previous two runs I did, I would never pick rotation speed over any level of power. So basically you have just 12 upgrades for your weapons, right? And I have 4 weapons, so when there's 2 more, you would go up to 18. But it's not really like a skill tree. Now, I'm kind of wondering if, you know, this space is open because there's going to be more upgrade trees once, you know, later on in early access or when the game is fully released. But I feel like you could split, you know, maybe not, well, you could either split the upgrades into like different categories, so that way, you know, you have more things to upgrade, because right now it seems like there's not a whole lot that's super necessary to upgrade, or not super necessary. I guess I'm trying to say that it's really easy to upgrade your guns, and again, with the fact that relics, you can get the final tier, there's not a lot of stress on the green orbs. And again, it's not like I'm like, oh man, I would love to not be able to heal my character. Obviously I would, but it's just one of those things that kind of gives players a reason to think about their resources a little bit more. Right now, there's not a lot of push and pull to how you use those resources, right? So, for example, what do other games do? Other games, they use the same resource that you would use to buy upgrades to get rerolls. So you have to think about like, oh man, am I gonna reroll right now, or am I gonna save these 5 extra resources so that way maybe I can buy something better after the next wave? And so it kind of makes you think a little bit, and right now it doesn't feel like there's any of those choices with your resources. It's just kind of like gather your resources, buy the best thing, and then just kind of don't think about it. Oh boy, okay. Come on, come on. Yeah, the shooty boys need to go. Shooty boys need to go. I'm gonna stick right around this cave so that way I can hop in the second I kill the last guy. I do like that there's a very subtle camera shift once the wave ends. That way there's like a guaranteed, okay, we're done with the wave. So that way you don't hop into a cave prematurely. Even if it looks like the last enemy is done, You know, it could be that it just looks like it, but they haven't spawned yet or something like that. Wow, we hit the jackpot here. Okay, we need to find a relic down here though. But that is a very nice little addition they made. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this blue. Oh, we got more blue. Oh, so much blue. Love to see it. Love to see it. Can we find anything else before this next wave, or is that going to be it? We did get pretty lucky with that. I would like to find the relic in this cave if I could. Oh, okay, a little bit more healing. I'll take it. We'll take it. And then we'll take these last yellow. There we go. How are we doing? The grab range is pretty good too. Okay, I'm going to upgrade really quick here. Maybe not the smartest upgrade, but I'm going to take the speed just so that we can get up a little bit faster with all of this. Hopefully we don't get shot up too much before we get there. Alright, we're good. We're good. Oh, yep, taking a couple shots here. Okay, let's take care of the worms. Let's go, wormies. Come on, wormies. Now, I forgot what the third weapon is. I think it might be like a rocket launcher. But between the weapon you start with, which is the machine gun and shotgun, I'm very surprised to say that I think the shotgun is just better. I'm actually going to throw on a heal here before I forget. I do think that the shotgun is just better. To me, at least, it feels better. Just because the range is very surprisingly long on it. You know, typically in games you find shotguns and it's a close-up weapon, which is kind of what I thought it was going to be when I bought it and I tried it out. And yeah, that's what I was looking for. And the range is surprisingly wide. And because of that, I don't exactly know why you would want to go with the machine gun. And the damage is also quite good. So, I don't know, maybe the machine gun is better for bosses. But, I mean, you can just pick up some secondary weapons that are better for the bosses if you really need them. Okay, what are we taking? Yeah, so I'm going to take the power here. Probably should have upgraded first, because I think... What was that? Was that artillery? No, I think it might have been... Oh, no. So, see, like, we just got the final upgrade on the napalm bomb. So that already saved us some of the green. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade our machine gun here. Going to hold on to that. Still working on the blue here. We'll upgrade that next. Make our way over this way. Nope, looks like this cave might be done. Yeah, because there's not going to be anything up here. So we're just going for meta stuff now. Just keep collecting. Actually, we can see if there's anything over here. Yeah, nope, that's the edge of the cave. Okay. Let's make our way back. Collect a little bit more. Get a little greedy. Okay, gonna keep making my way over here to this cave. Gonna go through that one next. Okay, we just dodged those. Now, the nice thing... So, I was mentioning before how, you know, because our mobility is kind of slow, it can be kind of tough with the range attacks. Luckily, those are slow too. So, it's kind of... You know, it's kind of like we're both moving in slow motion, so, which is kind of nice. Okay, come on, Wormy. There we go. Let's go ahead and down hit this cave. Ooh, lots of blue. Oh, lots of blue. Perfect. How much can I carry? I can carry quite a bit. can carry quite a bit. There is also going to be additional digging weapons, or I guess tools is the better word. They're not really weapons. They're not. I don't believe they're currently in this version of the game. On the meta progression window, it just has a locked icon, and the others I've actually been able to purchase to upgrade. So I just don't think they're in this build. But there's a power laser and something else. I forgot what it was. We'll again, all that stuff we will take a look at after. Don't you worry, we will take a look at all that, and you can see kind of what the progression system looks like. All right. Ooh, got more green. Perfect. Ooh, a lot more green. Excellent. But let's definitely make sure to grab the blue crystals. We need a bunch of those. I'm gonna just kind of leave the yellow down here. Slowly but surely make our way up. And then hopefully, here in a second, we can find another artifact down here. Okay. Yep, this is a boss that is very strange. So this boss kind of throws out these little AoEs like this, and then he jumps in the air and tries to jump on us, which we have just enough speed to get out of. And then he kind of jumps up and we can't hit him. It's kind of strange, because as long as you keep moving, he kind of can't hurt you, but at the same time, like, it's just kind of a long fight because we can't shoot him the whole time. Okay, let's get out of this. Gonna kind of hang around. Oh, actually, I should be hanging around the other cave because I haven't found the relic in there yet, if there is one. But at this point, I have no idea which cave it was. I think we're gonna get hit here because we're slow. Nope, we still made it out. Come on. Okay. One more round. One more round. And there we go. Boss down. Okay, let's hop back in here. Make our way down, see if we can find another artifact here. If there is one. This might be one of those elusive rooms where there is not an artifact. At this point, with the shape, yeah, there's nothing in here. Okay, so we have found one of those elusive, the 20%ers. We found one of the 20%ers. At least now I can confirm that not every cave has an artifact in it. Let's go ahead and make our way over to this one here. Now, there's no, like, goal on the map. We're not trying to make it to a certain location or anything. I'm not sure if the map is infinite in any way, or actually, I can guarantee it's not, because there was a wall that we just ran into, so there is an end to it. Okay, at this point, let's go ahead. So I'm good here. Let's see. What do we want to go for? I want to get this up to level 2. Oh, this doesn't even need green for damage. Okay, we'll just grab that. We're good here because I want to get the artifact to upgrade that. Although it's only 1 green. That's already maxed out. That I'm probably going to wait on because that is a lot of blue. Because we also want speed up. Then let's get the carry slowdown. And at this point, you know, we find like 1 or 2 more relics and our build is kind of maxed out already. Progression definitely happens pretty quick. And I think that's kind of another thing that, you know, comes about because the weapon upgrades are so combined. You know, you could spread out the upgrades by making weapons having different upgrade stats. So again, even if you wanted to keep it still pretty basic like what it is now, you know, you could have, you know, damage be 1, you could have reload speed be 1, and then you could have, I don't know, what are the other upgrades? Rate of fire. So you could have like 3 different trees for weapons. But we're kind of almost at the point where we're gonna be maxed out. And there's also no, you know, infinite upgrade, so it's like you can hit a point of completion for sure. But I guess to be fair, I have not unlocked the last 2 weapon slots. Oh shoot, I wasn't paying attention. Oh god dang it. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize my health was that low. And that easily could have been prevented. Well, I guess that's why you go for the auto repair, huh? Okay. Well, since we got here, let's take a look at meta progression and how it works. So, there's 2 different things we can upgrade. Obviously, there's the mech and there's the digger. Currently, the digger doesn't have a lot. Oh. So, I'm going to be honest here. So it is early access, so I'm going to say that there's definitely been some bugs. So like one of the things that's definitely buggy is if you pull the game out of full screen. So like if you alt tab out to a different window and come back in, if you were looking, I think next to the weapons, when we were playing, there was a tiny little 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those turn into a giant white square about the same size as the weapons, which is kind of obnoxious, but you can get away just by resetting the game. The other thing that happened was before I didn't have the skill menu. It was just upgrades, guns, and guns, and I couldn't even tab between these 2. So now I can. So you can see here that the laser and the punch are currently locked. We can't get that. So skills here are, you know, these are like activated skills that we can activate and actually use. So I'm not actually sure what these do because I haven't tried them out. And then of course we can upgrade our carry slowdown, drill power, and speed. So the same things that we could upgrade in the tree while we were playing, we can just get a better base stat. The other thing we can do is upgrade the mech. So currently we have these upgrades, which are all kind of the similar things we were seeing in game. We can upgrade our max health. We can upgrade max speed, although not by much. We can add a shield. I'm honestly not sure how effective the shield is because we have this shield 4.0. I'm not sure because it's 4.0. I'm assuming that is slightly different than your HP. Right? Because I would assume that because there's a decimal here, I'm assuming that these numbers are not equivalent. So this isn't 4 HP. That would also seem very odd to me to have a shield that only blocks 4 HP. Obviously, it does recharge, but I'm not sure about that. That might just be a shield indicator and not actually how much damage it prevents. It might be on a different scale. I'm not sure. Haven't tried it. Cave indicator, although the caves were pretty easy to find, so I'm not sure why you would need a cave indicator. And likewise, enemy indicator, I don't necessarily know why you would need that. It was pretty obvious where enemies were. The only ones I could see maybe needing an enemy indicator for are the worms, but again, the worms are shooting at you, so you just follow the projectile backwards and you're going to find them. So I don't know if those are necessary. Skills. This is a little weird. So I've unlocked all these. Now, like I said, with the digger, the skills are like activated abilities. You can put them on here. The weird thing about this that I'm not sure how to word it, but if you go and equip these fill up these auto slots. So unless, you know what, let's actually do this. I'm going to do this real quick because I actually want to see. I haven't done a full run with these equipped. So let's go missile launcher. Let's go carpet missile launcher. What I want to see, and what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump ahead until I find a relic so that way we can look at this. Because when I jump in, you're going to see that these weapons take up some of the slots. I want to confirm whether or not it takes up these auto slots. So if I can get other weapons or if these take up my weapons. So I'm going to skip ahead to that point. Actually, never mind, because I literally jumped right in, and the first thing I noticed is there's 3 skill weapons here and 3 auto weapons. So I'm gonna hold back on what I said, what I was going to say about those, because I jumped in really quick to look, and I actually missed the fact that the auto guns were still there. And so I was like, why would I want to equip these if then I can't pick up more weapons? But you can, so I'm not gonna go on that little rant. But yeah, so we have these different guns that we can lock. These are secondary guns, which will make starting way easier. but it doesn't look like you can upgrade these. So, you know, I've only done, so basically before this, I had I actually did 3 runs. I had 2 runs that started at wave 4 before I unlocked anything additional. The first one was like the tutorial. The second one, I hadn't unlocked anything. The next run I did, I got to like 22, and then this last run, I think it was what, 16 or 19, and then of course I wasn't paying attention to my health, and we died. But so I already have all of these unlocked. Again, upgrades, I don't know why I would spend 600 on these 2. Again, I don't know how effective the shield is. I don't know that it's really necessary. The speed upgrade is pretty small, so it looks like we're only going to get to, what, 4.1-ish. The health is actually good. I mean, it gives you more max health, but again, you're not healing a percentage base with the green crystals. So having more health, it helps to a certain extent, but then at a certain point, you're not going to be able to get it all back because you won't have enough green health. We already talked about skills. Guns, you know, the other one is the main rocket gun, which I don't have, but it would be fairly quick to get. And then, of course, you can upgrade your relic slots, and there's 2 more of those, and then I would have all the relic slots. So in terms of meta progression right now, there's not a whole lot going on. It's pretty bare bones right now, and that's kind of how I feel about the full game. Right now, where the game is at, it definitely feels bare. I think that there's a very good spine right now. So right now, if we were to look at this as like a human body, we have a spine, and we might even have, I could even probably say that it's like a spine, but or not a spine, sorry. We have a skeleton, but we're at like 180 bones. We don't have 208 bones just yet. I think that it's a really good start. I think that there's an actual, there's a really solid, you know what, I'm just going to play a little bit here while I'm going over kind of my final thoughts, because otherwise staring at that screen is kind of boring. There's definitely a solid base here. I think that the general gameplay is actually pretty fun. You know, going through, digging through caves, finding these little things. I think that it is pretty enjoyable, not going to lie. I've had fun going through and collecting and shooting waves of enemies, especially the mech. You know, I've had like this weird mech renaissance lately. I'm trying to get into the beta test for Mecha Break and try that out, because that game looks sweet, and apparently that's just like what I've been missing ever since my childhood. I didn't know that I needed more mechs in my life, but here we are. But currently, I mean, except for not reaching level 30, which I was hoping to do, not gonna lie, but you know, we can't always play perfectly. That you've seen the whole game. That is the whole game as it stands right now. And so it is definitely bare bones. There's no, you know, there's no other difficulties. There's no, you know, ascensions or anything. There's no modifiers. It's the game is what you've seen me play. The bosses are, I'm going to be honest, the bosses are okay. I think the worm boss is probably the best boss the game has. The last boss we had that was kind of jumpy and doing their AoE, I don't really like that boss at all. Not even that he's too hard. Just the mechanics themselves are kind of eh. I think one thing that's tough to build around, or that's tough, when I mean build around, I mean design around, is the kind of lack of mobility of the mech. Because, I mean, there's definitely ways to do it, don't get me wrong, but it is limiting. It kind of limits your design space not having a lot of mobility, because the majority of the gameplay is really just going to be upgrading your ship so that you can survive, because there's not a lot, I would say, of technical skill that you need. I would say that there are definitely other bullet heavens where you do need some technical skill in dodging, in dashing around, and knowing like how to make a path through enemies, and trying to see the maze in real time and following that maze and working your way through. But because there's no mobility on this mech, you kind of don't have that. You kind of just have to play in a way to just make your ship stronger and be able to kind of just tank hits, and that's kind of it. Yeah, let's make sure we survive here. But that being said, I think that the gameplay loop itself has enough there that there is a game to be had here. So don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying that, oh, the game has nothing going for it. It should just shut down and it should never... No, it's you can definitely make it work. And that's why I said there's about 180, 190 bones here that could definitely turn itself into a worthwhile game. And that being said, after having said all that, I think that it is... What's the right word? Ambitious, maybe, to be requesting $8 for this early access game. $8 is, I would say $8 is more reasonable for games I've seen in early access. I have definitely seen some games recently that are shooting the limit with how much they want to price their early access games for. And I've said it a couple times before where a majority, I would say, the prime time that early access really became the norm, I was not really playing video games that much, because early access really took off in what, like the mid 2010s, was it? I feel like maybe that was the case because I was still playing a lot of video games in high school, and I graduated in 2012. And so I feel like it was after that, because when I was in high school, you know, DLC was... I mean, the Xbox 360 was still out. So DLC was the thing. And so early access wasn't really a thing because, like, pre-orders... Pre-orders... let me say that. Pre-orders when they meant something was still a thing. We still had to go to GameStop in the middle, you know, the middle of the night to get our pre-orders. It just didn't just download to our console or to our PC. So I guess if you're buying this game in early access, you're anticipating that the game is going to have more content and you're going to play it later on down the line. I guess my struggle with early access is I understand why it's there, right? It's basically for game developers to get extra funding for their game and to kind of show players what is currently there, and with hopes of what can come of it. But if you are somebody who does have limited funds for, you know, for non-necessary spending, you know, for your just money to spend on video games, it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of content here to actually sink your teeth into for $8. I guess that's kind of the thing. Do I think that it could eventually build its way up to that? Absolutely, definitely. I think that there is enough shell here that if you are into the game, that you could definitely be hopeful that the game is going to get really good. However, right now, content is really limited, and especially, you know, especially nowadays where you have so many games that are in early access. I mean, again, I kind of gave my thoughts about early access, but a lot of times early access is just the game launching itself, and then the full version is just more DLC. You can kind of think, that's how I think about it, basically. Like, for example, you know, I'm not calling the game out or anything, but Death Must Die in early access is ridiculous. That is a full game. Like, that game is done. It could have been done a long time ago. And so I feel like the additional content they're putting out now is basically just DLC. And so when they finally hit their quote-unquote full release, to me, it would feel like a 2.0 release. And that's kind of how I feel about this stuff. I would be hesitant to go and spend the $8 as the game stands now. I would say wait a couple months, wait for there to be a little bit more content. Hopefully, because we're almost in version 0.7, which, you know, if we're that close to a 1.0 release, I would hope that the next updates have a lot more content in them. But that being said, that's where we're going to leave this one, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like the video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel. Here we play all kinds of roguelikes and roguelites, deck and dice builders, tactical strategy games, auto battlers, and so much more. But guys, I've been Ganyonz. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.